Welcome to season 14 of the Parenting Aces Podcast, a proud member of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and this week, Brian Teacher is back. He was on the pod a couple years ago, I think. It's been a while, but he has a super cool app that he's been working on for several years now and has just released some exciting new features that he is going to share with us. So if you have the chance to actually watch the video version of this episode, I want to encourage you to do that. You can do it on our website or you can do it on our YouTube channel. But Brian's going to share his screen and show us some of the features of full court tennis, how players can use it, how parents can use it, and how coaches can use it to help players become their best version of themselves. So super excited to have Brian back on and super excited to share full court tennis with all of you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with former top pro player, current media tech guy and coach, Brian Teacher. Brian, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And before we get started, people that are watching the video version, which I hope everybody does, because we're going to have some demos today, but you've got a little thing on your shoulder. So what's going on with your shoulder?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and present full court tennis, but I just had the shoulder replacement surgery, if you can believe it. Not a fun process, but I think it'll be good. I'm 4.5 weeks out.
All right. When do you get to get back on the court?
Oh, that's a good question. It probably takes a good 4 to 6 months.
Wow. Okay. These shoulder injuries are no joke. I've been dealing with mine for 10 months now. It's awful. So I wish you a speedy recovery, but I'm glad we caught you at a time where you've got a little bit of downtime and can chat with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So for my audience members that aren't familiar with Brian Teacher, and shame on you if you're not, can you give us a little bit of your tennis story?
Sure. Well, I'm from San Diego, California. I grew up at a public park there, Morley Field, California, and I spent the first 17 years of my life pretty much hanging out playing tennis there with a bunch of other kids. That was the one place to play in San Diego. And then I went to UCLA, played there.
Go Bruins.
Yeah, played there for 4 years under Glenn Bassett, 4-time All-American. And then I went professional, played on the tour for about 10 years. I ended up winning the Australian Open in '81 and achieved, I guess my highest singles ranking was 7 and 6 in doubles in the world. And then I went on and coached on the ATP Tour with the professional players, and have done coaching on the WTA Tour. And then I've gotten into kind of coaching and then kind of mentoring, and now I've been developing some technology, and I have Full Court Tennis, the app and the website. So I'm excited to show your audience how I use it on the court and how it's for all coaches, not just for me. It's for every coach. They can do free virtual lessons on it, or they can put their rates on it and they can charge and they can make money. So it's really to empower coaches. It's to empower the players, right? So they can learn, we can learn quicker and easier. And it's also for players, if they can't afford a coach or they don't have a coach, they can self-learn on it, because I have a pro library where you can compare your strokes side by side to some of the world's best pros. So there's a lot going on in it. And on top of that, there's a full court feed where we have 15 channels to post for where the coaches and players can post, and you can follow and interact with some of the world's best coaches on there, and you can look for your level of play to get tips and drills and various analysis for your level of play. So it's all kind of a full community.
I love it. This whole notion of virtual coaching is really coming into its own. And, I'm always excited to hear tennis kind of playing catch up here. We resisted getting involved with all the technology for a little bit, but I feel like as a sport, we're really catching up and coming into our own, and have, people like you who have been playing for years and years and years, sharing your expertise in a virtual manner. So you don't have to be in the same city or at the same tennis court to get the expertise of some of these amazing coaches and players out there. It's very cool.
Well, on top of that, so, I mentioned a little bit my background that I grew up at a public park. So we didn't have a lot of tennis down in San Diego, other than at the park. There was no tennis, international tennis on TV or stuff. So to me, when I start seeing this technology and thinking of myself as a kid growing up, if I had this technology where I could take a video of my strokes and then compare it to a top pro, I'd have been looking at it all day long to try to figure out how to do it better, basically. And so it's literally a no-brainer that anybody that really wants to take the time can look at any player in the world, for your own private library, download it, figure it out, get it into the app, and then look at it and compare your strokes. We have a pro library, like I said, but you can figure out how to get any image in there if you really want to.
Very cool. So I'm going to invite you to share your screen if you would.
Sure.
And
Okay.
because I think seeing is believing, and it's so much easier to really understand what we're talking about if you have it right in front of you. So again, for those of you listening to the podcast, I encourage you to check out the video version, which you can find on parentingaces.com and on the Parenting Aces YouTube channel, so that you'll actually get to see full court tennis in action. All right, over to you, Brian.
Okay, so here is the app, and this is a coach's version, but there is a player's version also. And the reason there's a coach and player so that the coach can connect to the player and the player could actually hire the coach or participate in lessons. So I'm going to show you how I use it first on the court on a daily basis. So it all starts with the camera button. And so I'm just going to hit the camera button just to show you quickly in my office that you can take a video, right? And you've got different settings so that you could basically, self-timer, 5, 10, 20 seconds and 1 minute, 3:10. And you've got other different settings on there. But anyway, once you take the video, I won't even bother taking it, but I'm just going to show you it stores into your library here. And when I open it up, I hit the hamburger menu. And let's say I go to my library here. And so you can organize your library here. You can see that I've got Bryce Nakashima in there, Brandon's brother. And I've done some videos with him in a lesson, and I'm just going to search for a clip. And just to show you, as if I took it on the court and instantly and wanted to look at his stroke on the court. Let's see where I got a lot of backhands. Right here, this backhand. So I've got this. So you can easily, you see it's in red or you see it's in white. So you can download it to your device or you can upload it to the cloud. It's very versatile to do that. So I'm going to show you how I use it on the court. So here we took a video of him, and now I'm going to hit a compare. And let's say I hit it from compare from my pro library. And so now I have all these clips, various clips of top players from the pro library. And here's Taylor Fritz. And let's look here that I say, okay, I see Taylor Fritz at backhand number 10. I'm going to compare it to the side. And so I can zoom this in a little bit, and then I can basically lock the swings right on the contact point. And so here we got the swings, and we're going to lock them, hit the lock, and now they're synced. Okay, so we can draw on all this stuff, and we can record our voice and our narrative. I'm just going to show you on the court how I do it. The annotation and stuff, you can analyze it and record it and send it, and I'll show you in lesson spaces and stuff how to do that. But for instance, if I'm showing the player on the court right now, you can see right here that you can see like Taylor has his rackets and he sets it and he does a nice unit turn with his shoulders, and you see the racket go back, and you see Bryce there that the racket is not being loaded back, and you see Taylor right here, you see the swing is already back on his left foot. And now watch when he stretches the right foot forward, the swing loads completely. And you can see Bryce right there. He's not all the way back. And you can see the ball is bouncing right in front of him. So he's probably going to be very late. And I can always erase this like this. And so now the key is when Taylor stretches his right foot forward and he pushes from the left to right foot, he drops that racket down into this position right here. And that's this kind of inversion right here with his racket face tilted back. And you can see that Bryce never gets to that position. He's straight with his racket just dropped. He doesn't get that inverted angle. And when Taylor starts coming around, you can see that his left hip is rotating and the torso is bringing the swing through around. And he hits the ball, and see how the ball compresses in his strings because it's the body mechanics coming through. And you can see Bryce right there, that when you can see his arms are moving. It's not his body bringing it through his arms. And when you see he hits it, he pops the ball off. So you can look, I've got Marcus Giron on here. You could look at other players. That's the technique that you have to be able to show the player, and instantly you can get back and start working on your game to have better stroke production. Okay. So you can actually then also send this stuff remotely. And if you want to, as a coach, I'm going to go back to the home screen, and let's say I'm looking at a player, so I can go to train now, and I can just start a lesson with the player. So these are all the players on the app, and I'm going to look up a player, and we'll start a lesson. So I'm going to look up Lori Sykes right there, and I'm going to start a lesson. So I can send her a message. I can send her video clips, or she could send me a message and video clips, and we can import them into our library. I can start a stroke analysis or match analysis. So you can analyze a stroke, a point, or a match on the app and the website now, which is really exciting. And you can start a live video consult lesson, which basically, just like we arranged a Zoom call, we can get on the Zoom call, and on the app even, you can go over any of this content back and forth and see it. And you can do it the same on the website, which is a larger screen. But I'm going to show you right now, starting a stroke, a match analysis. And so we hit that right there, and all of a sudden, instantly, it says I have one lesson already, and I'll show that lesson to you. It's with multiple people. And so a new lesson has been open. And so that's how the lesson is. And basically, you send video basically from your library, from Dropbox, video camera roll, or from Camera Live. And I'll just, what I'll do is I'll send a video right here just to load something in there, just so you can see it. And let's say I'll load just a straight clip right here, 4.3 seconds. And so I'm loading a clip and sending it, or she could send it to me, and then I could analyze and send it back. And we also can text in this space, send messages back and forth if we want, so that we can keep it going. And so then she'll get a notification that, that I've sent her a video, or I'll get a notification when she sent me video. So the coach has to initiate the lesson. And now that the coach has initiated it, by the way, at any time that you want, I'll show you this on one of the matches. So when I go back to my players on the screen, my players is anyone who I have had lessons with, either past or present, okay? And so, for instance, I'm going to show you the lesson that I have with Bryce. So I started it originally with Bryce's mom, Christina. And then if you open it up, so you can see that I have multiple lessons placed. And you see the first one, well, I have 3 people in the lesson, including me. That's 4 people. And so when I open it up and I scroll to the bottom, so this is basically, I have Dominic Herbati, who was a top player in the world. I've got Christina, the mom, and Bryce in here. And so we've all just, had opinions back and forth of analysis and dates and timestamps of all the communication back and forth and all the analysis. So we keep a history of the dates and the timestamps and how the progress is going. And you can see here at the end that it's pretty easy. So if I wanted to add somebody, I just press, add, and I just touch somebody and they're added and they get a notification. And if I want to remove them, I just hit the red delete there and they're deleted. So you don't have to get hired. This is for any way for a coach just to start working with their student immediately. And we're a free download basically right now. So you don't have to even pay for it, just to download and get an account going. So that's the one aspect that is pretty cool right there. And so you can do the same thing with a live video call and load content on there and just send somebody a text when you want to start this call, and then screen share and go over any content. So pretty easy. So I wanted to show you right here. So this is a full court feed, and basically the coaches, can post videos and you can interact, and right now we're just offering people, if they want to put their logo on it, we'll brand their logo for a short period of time. We're going to cut this off pretty quick, and you can see Vladka here, she's got her WTA logo and coach. So when she sends something out, it gets branded and you can interact. You can send this to social media. If you want to share it right here, Instagram, Facebook, you can import it into your library. You can comment or report and like it, basically. So it's basically a way. So if you want to look at coaches' posts, you can basically select your channels if you want. For instance, if I wanted to look at tips and drills only, I could apply the filter and then only tips and drills would show up. And these are just the tips and drills. And I can set the level of play. You can see it's advanced, intermediate, beginning. For instance, if I wanted just to show a filter, let's see if I could do that with just a beginner and intermediate. And I wanted to show, let's say, tips and drills and analysis. So then it will show the filters of just, Everything that applies to intermediate and beginning. Now on this, you can see the first one that basically it's titled Pro, Advanced, Intermediate, and then it's cut off beginning. But here's one specifically. I'm showing a throwing, and by the way, on this throw, you can see that I'm a lefty. I'm actually a righty.
My throw below, you can see, watch how my hips and shoulders turn and the arm just floats back there.
So what I'm doing is I'm comparing my throwing, how to get the girl to throw properly, and I'm able to hit a button. I'm a righty, and I'm able to hit a button to turn me to a lefty on there, so that I can match her throw. So it's got a lot of great stuff. Now, if you want to put your rates in here and get hired, you can do that, and I can show you. So if we look at coaches here, and let's look at Dominique for a second. And so here's his profile. You can send him a message. And here, if you want a stroke analysis lesson, you do that. If you want a live video consult, you can do that. Or so you can hire a world-class coach, or you can just connect to your coach. A lot of coaches don't have international reach. They can just, they can set it up and they can do it for free. They don't have to charge through the app. And by the way, they're spending time and energy. They can still say, hey, I'll help you in the app. I'll give you analysis, but I'm going to add the cost onto your lesson or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So they can add it on, and it's valuable. And what's great about it is not only, can you help the student, but what's great is the parent can get in it, because we're talking about parenting aces. So now the parent can be in this lesson, and they can be seeing, hey, little Johnny, like Johnny, look, you're not doing what the coach said. You need to start focusing on this. And so the parent, a lot of times you drop the kids off at the lesson and you're not sure what the coach worked on, right? So this is a way for you to follow and just stay on top of your kid to see how they're doing and if they're following, and then you can discuss with the coach. So it's a great communication tool. And instead of having these videos spread all over your emails and everything, they're right in one lesson space where you can follow. So that's on the whole, that's kind of it. And I wanted to just show you. So what we've done now is we're on iOS, right? But we're not on Android. So I said, you know what? I want to move all this technology to the website. And so that's what we just launched. And so I'll show you the website where we've moved most of the technology already. We still have a little more to move, but let's go into the website. So I'll stop sharing the phone and I'm going to go back to the website here.
While you're doing that, Brian, sure. I wanted to just ask you to clarify. So this product is for players themselves who want to get instruction. It's for coaches who want to have access to their players remotely so that they can help them. My wheels are turning. I'm thinking, my kid's at a tournament. I don't really want to pay for the coach to travel to a level 4 tournament with my kid. But if I videotape my kid's match and then upload it to the app, the coach can take a look at it and give my kid some tips before tomorrow's match.
100%. By the way, you just hit it on the nail on the head, by the way, and exactly, because coaches don't have time to travel. So if the parent can get a video of the match, by the way, the website is now, and you can see Johnny Mack, he's on our advisory board there. And so the website is, I can show you, it's so easy to load up a match. As long as it's an MP4, we can load it up and it goes in so easy. And you can analyze a whole match. And there's so many versatile ways that a coach can use that I'll show you. So I just basically, let's see, there we go. And so on this, for instance, this is Gilles Zavara. He's was Daniel Medvedev's, he's his coach trainer. And so you can see on here, he's got his rates in Europe if you want to hire him and follow him. And so we're posting any coach that wants to get their rates up. Basically, you got Michael Russell. You can get your rates up and get featured on the app. And right now, like I said, it's a free sign up. So you got nothing to lose, basically. Okay, so I'm going to log in here. And so this is the feed. This is just what we said on, this is the full court feed, but I want to go over here to my library. So it's got all the same features here. The only thing that we don't have right now, so here's the train now, the coaching rates, basically, we don't have the coaching rates in. We're loading those in the next month or two so that the coach, but you can You can connect to the players on the app. You look for Train Now and you can connect just like I showed you on the app. And what's really cool is I'll go to the library. And so this is a really cool feature, is that you can upload video once you're in the library. You just upload. You can upload from your local drive, from Dropbox or Google Drive, and it uploads. And then you can analyze a match. Let me just show you. Our media player is very versatile in this. I don't know why my screen is stuck right here. Oh, it's because
maybe because you
I got that thing open. Okay, so let's see. Let me try to find a video here. Let's see. I've got a WTA has sent me a video just so let's see. This is just a test video from WTA. They allowed me to use this. And by the way, you can have tagging in this. I don't own that video. They just allowed me, WTA, because we use WTA coaches. And so this will take a minute or two because this is like a 2-hour match, right? So it's going to process, and then I'm going to show you how basically you can analyze it, which is really cool for the coaches. It's very simple. It's not difficult. And you're going to see that it's got incredible features so that people that aren't that tech savvy, if you want to just record it and put your voice over, you can change the speed to any level. So if you want to just say play it, certain parts of it at 0.5 speed or 0.25 or 0.75, just hit the button and you record your narrative at that speed, and you can hit a pause and change it to any speed you want, or you can switch to annotated if you want. And so you can combine the two. And that's kind of what I just wanted to show you real quick here. So it's about finish uploading, and then it'll pop up and I'll show you just what to do.
So at this point, while this finishes, everything is free it's free to get the app. It's free to register on the website and set up an account. And for any coaches out there that want to be available to work through full court tennis, they can sign up for free and set up their profile on there. And I could hire Mike Russell, who is Taylor Fritz's coach, for example, to help me on my drop shot if I wanted.
Whatever, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. So here's all the different annotation things. So we've got if you need to start a tour there, it'll tell you what all these buttons are right here. Let me get my share screen out of the way. And so let's say I'm going to get here. So now I'm going to say, I'm going to hit just stroke match analysis. So it tells you can record your voice analysis at any speed or annotate and draw. So let's say I want to start with record my voice at any speed. So basically I hit that, don't show it again. Okay. And so now I've got the speeds 120, 0.25, 0.5. So let's say I'm just going to give you an example here. So 0.2, 0.5, I'm going to record. And so I'm going to record. And so it's going to show my face, and I can narrate it basically once it kicks in. And so now you can see the timer is going. And so I can narrate the action. If I want to move my face, if it gets in the way, I can move it anywhere around the screen I want to. I'll just keep it back here. And so I can narrate the video at any speed. Then I can pause it. I can change it back again. So this moves it forward 10 minutes, 1 minute, 10 minutes back. But here's the speeds. Now, if I want to draw on it, I can switch to drawing. And so I can say, okay, I actually want to annotate. And so let's get something that we want to annotate here. Let's see here. Let's see if we got to find a good point. Okay, so let's say we wanted just to watch her return to serve for a second. So
okay.
We're basically say we're resuming recording, and so it's recording. And so now I've got two controls here. I've got this big slider at the bottom of my screen, which I can basically move. And so what's key here, which is really key, is if you watch the top players, and especially for men, is that it's so key when men or anybody, pretty much because their serves are faster, right? Is that you need to really study your balance points of your player when the ball comes over the net, because that is, your eyes have to pick it up. And you see so many, even pro players, they're moving around and hopping in the air, and they're still moving when the ball's over the net. And so they have to be able to pick the ball up and get their pivot very quickly. And you see how she's pivoted pretty good with the racket is already kind of pointing back, right? Mm-hmm. And the shoulders across, and she's in good balance right here with her legs, right? So she's going to be in good balance there. So if they're out of balance, basically, and they're hopping, they can't get in that position, and you'll never have a good return to serve. You can't do this in other types of technology. Now, if I erase this for a second, just to show you, and let's say we wanted to really zoom in somewhere else, and we want it. So if I'm hitting the zoom right there, so now I've lost the screen, but I've enlarged this a lot. So you have to just hold down the mouse, and you can drag it. And then you could, if you really wanted to watch her serve, you could kind of look at her serve. She's still a little out of focus there. There we go. And so then it's got the ability to move anywhere around the screen. Now you can do this on the app the same way, but it's a smaller screen.
Right.
Okay. And
you know what I'm thinking as I'm watching you do this? For anybody that is interested in becoming a commentator, this is like an incredible opportunity to practice those skills and record it and watch yourself, right?
It's funny that you said that, because I had a commentator from Tennis Channel, and I was talking to him. I won't say who it is. And I said, this is how you learn to figure out what's going on. You can be your own expert here, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but what I'm saying is, you said you can be your own commentator, but at the same time, you can learn. You can learn, basically. And you know what? You can literally, for your own private use, you can put whatever video you want in here. You can basically, sometimes I use, let's see, a software, Wondershare. It's $40 a year. You can import any video you want into and change it to an MP4, load it onto your computer, and then load it in here. And you can become a world's expert. I'm telling you, more than most coaches, by the way. You can become your own world's expert if you want to, because they don't study it as much. Like you mentioned, we're a little behind in the coaching world. There's a lot of great coaches, but a lot of coaches need to get up to snuff. So, that's what we're doing here. And so, that's kind of it, basically, is what I wanted to show you briefly and quickly to get through it. And it's exciting. So, anybody that wants to use the technology, I'm always happy to do a Zoom call and go over any of it with them.
I love that. And Brian, for people that are, just trying to understand how to use this, let's kind of summarize what the different uses would be for full court tennis, from the player perspective, the parent perspective, and the junior coach perspective.
From the player perspective. Okay. So from the player perspective, the player would want to, if they can, so we don't have the pro library on the website. We have it on the app, on the iOS. So if they have an iOS app, it would be great to download the app. They can put it on the self-timer that I showed, take video, and then they can compare it to some of the pros. Now, we rent the clips out. It's like $2.99 a month to rent the clips out so they can see the clips and compare them. That's a great way. Like if you start comparing it, you could say, well, my thinking is that basically, so the top players, they have different styles of play, but their ingredients, their essential ingredients are the same. It's like baking a cake. You can't, there's different forms of chocolate cake, but they're all chocolate cake, right? They just have a little flavor. If you miss in the essential ingredients, you're not going to have a chocolate cake. So look at the players, pick out the essential ingredients in their swings, and you see, wow, look at the similarities. This is what I need to do. I don't need to reinvent the wheel here, right?
Right.
And so from a player point of view, then connect to their local coach, have their coach start helping them. And if they want to, they can reach out to one of the world-class coaches on there for some opinions. So that's as far as a player, basically, right?
Yep.
As far as a parent should be downloading the app and basically putting it in front of the coach's nose and saying, you know what, you need to use this with little Johnny. This is crazy. You're not using it, and then have them connect to you and little Johnny for a lesson, right? That's basically it. And, or you can help educating your kid. You can be taking the video of your boy or girl and then showing them and comparing them and locking the thing and looking, hey, look at this. You're not doing this, or you're not. So you can help your kid yourself, even though maybe you're not a big tennis technique expert. You can see and look through the difference, scroll back and forth and say, look, I'm looking at Taylor. I'm comparing Taylor and Marcus together, and look, their swings are kind of similar, right? There's what they're doing. Look at you. I don't see the similarity here. I'm missing this. And show your son or your daughter that. Isn't that what parents do to educate their kids, right? So we're just not used to doing it in sports, and it's right in front of our faces, right? So let's use it. That's what it's about. So then as far as a coach, you should be, you can add income to to your lessons, basically. Spend some time doing this, take the video, say, you know what, I'll do this for you, but it's taking me 15, 20 minutes. It's well worth your while. I'll charge you a little bit more for the video, right? And they can do it. They don't have to go through the app to do that. But if they have an international reach and they want to get hired, they can put their rates up. They have to fill out a Stripe form because we don't take any of the money. Stripe fills all that. We take 6%. We take 6% of the lesson fee, which is pretty small, not really a lot. And they can make whatever they can make. So we got many different ways. And so the coaches can build their brand. We're putting their logos on it. They can put their brand out there, send it to social media. We've got invite buttons. They can invite the world if they want to it, and so you can sign up on the website. You don't need an iOS phone. And so basically we're covering the bases right now and just trying to get the word out there to improve tennis coaching and kids learning the game.
Yeah. And one of the things from the coach's perspective, and you and I were talking about this before we started recording, is I hear from a lot of junior coaches that, time is money for them. So especially, the coaches, as they start entering their 40s, their 50s, more hours on the court it becomes really difficult. And just from a physical standpoint, your body gets tired of standing and feeding and hitting and picking up and all the things. This is a great way for coaches to supplement their income or to keep their income level, but reduce the number of hours they're actually on court teaching. And I'm hoping that more coaches will start to understand the benefits of this type of video analysis and virtual coaching. We've interviewed several different coaches that are using this type of technology to grow their brand, their business, but also, most importantly, from where I sit, to become better coaches so that they can help their players achieve their goals. And
Lisa, 100%. Watch this. So this is a coach. You just reminded me. This is a coach of public parks. I said, who do you teach? Well, I teach beginners. I teach intermediate, Brian. I'm not so sure this is for me. And I said, I don't really know a lot about technology. His name was Mo. And I said, Mo, let me just give you a few lessons, show you how to do it. Start introducing it to your players. See if they like it. Okay. Let me just show you his testimonial right here. What's your basically feedback from your players?
I agree 200% because I was just working with a guy on Pro Nation the other day, and he kept asking me, was that it? Was that it? He said, I did it, right? I said, no. And he said, I felt like I did. I said, no, let me show you. Only when they can see it do they realize that what they think they're doing and what they're actually doing is two different things. The visual never lies, and you got to be able to break it down in such slow motion or synced increments to where they can see the minutia that they're not able to see when it's in fast motion, when it's in regular speed.
And do you use, so in FCT, do you use the comparison much, or do you just show them visually and scroll it back and forth?
All the time. I do both. I'll visually scroll back and forth, and then I'll show them a comparison to show them exactly what it should look like with the pros.
And so it's not from the pro library, or do you bring other images in?
From the pro library, absolutely. From your pro library.
Cool. Well,
yes.
I appreciate that. And it's important to educate the coaches on why we use this stuff. So thank you so much. And I'm going to.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. 200%. They need to be able to use a tool like this because, like you said, the naked eye just cannot see it. Everything is moving too fast.
So that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, this is great. And again, if you are the coach of junior players or, players that are aspiring to play high level tennis, why wouldn't you avail yourself of the latest technology out there? And again, this is free to use right now. So this is the time to try it out, to learn how to use it, to integrate it into your teaching and, your day-to-day and how you interact with your customers. It's a no-brainer.
I think for most coaches that they're just, like you're saying, they pound their hours out by teaching on the court. And so how is this going to help me make more money? Well, you have to be able to, one is you want to be a better coach, but so start passing this information and this technology that you spend the time you're valuable. Your time is valuable. It's valuable to the parents. It's valuable. Okay, you got to add the time onto your lesson. Say, I'll do this. It'll be an extra $20 or $30 or whatever it is, takes you time to do it per week. And we'll do it and we'll see how you like it. This is what Mo did. He basically started. I said, well, I said, you're not on the paid hired lesson. How are you working it? He says, well, I gave him an example. I showed it to him once. And they said, would you like me to do it? And they said, yes, I really like this comparison. So he's just doing a free lesson, and every video he gets, he charges them, with their lesson. And that's how he does it. So he's immediately using it to make money.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, Brian, I think this is so cool. And I've seen a lot of different technologies out there, and this kind of pulls everything in together. So you've got the ability to compare your strokes with the pro players, or it doesn't even have to be a pro. You can, if you're in a community and you're in the 12 and unders and there's a 16 and under player that you aspire to be like, record them and use that as your comparison point.
100%.
It doesn't, it's not every kid wants to play professionally, but I would hope that every kid getting into this and starting to invest time in it really is doing that with the goal of becoming the best player they can become. And this is just one more tool. Yeah,
exactly. Right on the head, that they can become the best player they can become, because the parents, you're spending thousands of dollars with tennis lessons. You get to the point where, like, little Johnny, he's so frustrated. He's getting beaten all the time. And 90% of the time is because technique didn't improve.
Right. Now, I think this is super cool. I'm going to ask you to stop sharing your screen so we can get your face big again, and we can sum this thing up. And can you stop the share?
Oh, stop. Did I? Yeah, I did.
Huh.
I'm not sharing. Are you still seeing
Weird.
sharing?
I am.
On my end. On my end, it's
stopped.
stopped.
Oh, there it stopped. Okay. I may be just lagging a second. So if people want to get in touch with you, Brian, what's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. Just, I'll give you my email. It's just my initials, BT, B for Brian, T for T, BT at fullcourttennis.com, all spelled out.
Okay, cool. And we'll have that in the show notes on ParentingAces.com. You are here in Southern California, just to give people that point of reference. You are very approachable, very easy to chat with. So I want to encourage any of my listeners that are considering the app or just wondering how they can best utilize it to help their kid achieve their goals, to please reach out to Brian, and he'll be happy to chat with you about that. For the coaches out there that have questions, are you open to chatting with them as well, Brian, and helping them understand?
100%. I walk coaches through all the tech. So I want everybody to be successful and build their expertise and know how to use it. So yes, I am available. That's why I'm giving you my email.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. It was great to see you, and hopefully I'll run into you around SoCal somewhere over the next few months, but wishing you a speedy recovery with that shoulder too, so you can get out and play.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And to my audience, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on Parenting Aces.